Nuuspod, die tuiste vir Afrikaanse stories agter die nuus.
Good day, everyone. So my guest here today is Dr. Leila Fourie. She's the CEO of the JSE, and she's going to chat to us about Change Your Life and her involvement with Change Your Life. Hello, Leila, and thanks so much for joining us.
Hi, Teresa. It's lovely to chat to you. Thank you for your time.
I know you're the busiest person on earth, so I'm really glad that you could make time, and I know you always make time for Change Your Life.
Absolutely, Teresa. It's a very big priority for the JSE and for me personally.
So, Leila, please tell us the story of how you heard about Change Your Life. I know you've told me that before, but it's such a nice story. I love to hear it. How did you hear about Change Your Life, and how did you get involved?
Yeah, well, Teresa, I always knew about Change Your Life. I worked under Russell's leadership, and I was aware of the Change Your Life group and from a distance. And then under Nikki's leadership, I was aware that she also supported. And I used to cycle here and there, but I'm one of those lazy, slothful rock climbing sort of sorts. So I'm not very good at getting out on the road. And I used to do a lot of mountain biking. And when I came back from Australia, I hadn't been mountain biking or cycling that much. I'd done it here and there, but I was largely rock climbing. And Ursula insisted that I must start cycling. And I said to her, no, hell, I'm a very lazy rock climber. I'll probably be very bad if I get back on the bike. And so she sent me a pack of Change Your Life clothing. And I wasn't sure what she expected me to do with it, because it didn't look like it was very practical to wear on the rock. So eventually she cajoled me into cycling with her and Jono, and they took me on a little trio outings, and Ursula used to ride in front of me and check that the robot was going to be green, because I couldn't get my feet out of the cleats properly initially. So it was a catastrophe if I had to stop at the robot. And eventually I qualified to actually ride with the group. And Jono, Ursula kept asking Jono, I'm sure Leila's ready to ride with the group yet. And Jono said, it's not the uphills that's a problem. She's very fast up the hills. It's the downhills. And so I have this panic about speed down hills. And I was very proud to point out to Jono the other day that I did 55 Ks down the hill. And so slowly they've brought me into the fold, and I've not looked back. It's been coming back from Australia can be a confronting experience, because you have to reintegrate into the community. And it was a very, very warm welcome, and I feel as if I've really become part of the Cal family, and I'm just so grateful for that.
And you are part of the family. That's the beauty of it. But Leila, what's your impressions of Change Your Life, the foundation?
So Change Your Life, the objective of Change Your Life is very close to my heart. It's something that I've been very focused on, particularly since I left the country and lived in Australia. And that is really around the basic need for social security. And the objective of Change Your Life, as everybody knows, is reducing violence and taking kids off the street. unfortunately, when I moved to Australia, I realized that in South Africa, we become conditioned to living in fear and living in a violent society. And it shouldn't be like that. And so the basic value and the objective of Change Your Life resonates so deeply with me. And this is one of the key reasons why I support it so vehemently. Ranging from the DNA project, which made such a profound contribution to the legal system of ensuring a balance of consequence, across to Namato, which is another very key value for me, which is education, which is the key to unlocking pride and independence and thereby reducing violence. And then, of course, to Martin Dreher's 3 academies, which will hopefully become 4 academies when the girls' netball team is introduced. All of these are such important building blocks for social security and for encouraging children to educate themselves, find meaning in their lives, and build a better life for themselves so that they don't have to go out and resort to violence in order to feed themselves and their families. So it's a very important value system for me.
So tell us about your first Change Your Life tour. If I'm correct, it was the Rovers Rail tour that you did.
Oh, my first Change Your Life tour really did change my life. I was so incredibly taken aback by the magic that Jono, Ursh, Russell, and Ian created as trustees, and Lizanne did a phenomenal job in managing the tour. What particularly stood out for me is that it captures your hearts and your minds. It's not just about cycling and achieving physical enjoyment and physical endurance and fitness and deursettingsvermoë, but it's about the emotive ties and the way in which this boutique cycling event is curated and put together, brings everybody together. And I don't think anybody leaves Change Your Life, a Change Life tour without genuinely having been changed themselves. So I think the tour is as much about changing the lives of those youngsters out there as it is in changing CEOs. I've developed deep and very meaningful friendships with so many wonderful industry colleagues and friends. And I also felt uplifted that in so doing, we were making a contribution that was bigger than ourselves. And that's really to the Change Your Life participants and the recipients of the funds that we raise.
And tell me, on a business level, do you think, what's the advantages of networking and cycling with like-minded people?
You know, Teresa, when I grew up, I was quite conservative, and I always used to think that networking was for people who didn't have an ability to contribute meaningfully. And I've since realized that building meaningful relationships is the backbone of your business. And the JSE as a sort of central player in financial markets, and by financial markets, I mean interacting with all sectors and all industries, not just the financially listed companies, is such a critical component. And that opens the door to new business ideas, to extended and expanded relationships. And so I've made many very good industry colleagues and friendships across all of those industries. And it's not just about business. It's just that these people are uplifting to my perspective in life. They open my mind and they give me a different perspective. So I think it's an enormously valuable business connecting opportunity, but also a very important socially uplifting experience.
Yeah, and I must say, it's really, you feel privileged to be part of a family like this. So Leila, the next tour is coming up. We're going to Zambia and Zimbabwe, Namibia. Tell us about the tour. Are you excited? And what are you looking forward to the most?
Well, I think it's a really wonderful experience to travel through so many different countries within Africa, just on our border. I'm really looking forward to Namibia. I've been trying to cajole Jono and Ursula into doing another Namibian tour because I really love the country. But I'm looking forward to seeing the Vic Falls, and who knows, maybe we'll be able to bungee jump in between our cycling.
Will you do? Will you?
No, we're hoping to. Maybe we'll encourage some of the Change of Lifers to do it on the tour. And I'm really looking forward to cycling through the Chobe Game Reserve. I've seen the photographs that Lisanne and Ursula and Jono took when they did the recce. And I think that's going to be a very privileged experience to ride in amongst elephants and other wildlife, hopefully not too many lions. But I think the time of the year is perfect, and just the diversity of seeing 4 different countries through starting in Zimbabwe, going through Zambia, going through Botswana, and then Namibia. I feel deeply privileged and just overwhelmingly excited to be joining.
Yeah. And Leila, I know you're really a valuable member of the family. And thank you so much for what you are doing and also what the JSE is doing for Change a Life.
Thank you. And, Teresa, Mike Thompson was actually an employee of the JSE before he went to Computershare. And so Change a Life has been a very integral part of the DNA of the JSE. Since its inception. Russell has been a tremendous supporter, and I salute him for that. And I think his leadership and his vision in supporting Ursula was really admirable. And it's a great privilege and very humbling for the JSE to be able to be associated with a cause such as this and to support the ultimate end recipients. It's wonderful to see people on the ground growing and developing, and some of them we've met through the tours, and some of the stories are so uplifting. So we really take it as a great honor, and it's really part of our social license to operate. What we do in business is not always about the bottom line and generating profit. Doing something that's bigger than ourselves and uplifting the community is often just as important.
Thanks, Leila. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the chat. It's been absolutely lovely to chat to you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you on the tour. And I hope to see all of our industry colleagues there too.
Nuuspod. Onbevange, onbegrens, onbevooroordeeld.